What they say about policing the homeless here. And going to meet a man named Paul White that's kind of on a crusade to deal with the discrepancies in homelessness and policing and different standards and how the problems are being dealt with. So anyways, time to go on inside. So this is a brand new police station here. This used to be the home of the Reno Gazette-Journal for many decades. And then as the modern media has kind of been, monopolized, they shut down the printing presses, centralized everything, You know how media has become the same story across the nation for everything. So the city of Reno bought the building and turned it into a police station. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Never give up.
Never give up.
in.
Got my pin on still.
How come you're not down in LA?
Well, there's enough going on here.
Yeah, there's enough, and that's definitely the concern.
Well, would you prefer being able to see their sign?
Wherever you want to talk about it.
I think we'd have better sound here. What would you like behind you? You want to?
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, well, you tell me.
Whatever.
We can be out living fast.
Yeah.
All right. All righty. Well, are we going live? Or?
You're already live.
Okay.
I went live as I walked in.
All right. Good morning. Can you tell how the sound is, Drew?
I can't, but you should be good.
Okay, let me just get as close as you know my face looks weird. Good morning, and welcome to this. This is an appeal to the Reno Police Department's Chief Catherine Nance to please step up on this problem that's consuming our city and our county, and that is the out-of-control homeless growth and the crime that comes with it. So for those of you who are not real familiar with it, the homeless problem in Reno is such that in the last 7 years, the numbers have increased 2,000%. And on this trajectory, it's estimated our homeless population in 2031 would be 32,000. Now, you would think we would want to keep track of this, but the city manager, Eric Brown, who controls doing what they call point-in-time homeless count, has decided we just don't want to count them anymore, so we're not going to even be aware of this. And what's happening is the homeless have come in. Some of them go to a huge, expensive CARES campus, probably close to 1,000 total in their various programs. And in these programs, because they're funded with federal money, they can have no laws and enforce no rules regarding problems that cause them to be homeless in the first place. So they cannot require that they be or work or even behave. And they do none of those three. There's countless weapons in this huge tent. The staff is, and this is testified by staff who work there, staff members selling to the residents in the tent. They lay up in there all day. They go out. You've got, and what people need to know too, what's called homeless right now is a real misnomer. There is no, first of all, there is no shortage of food. We have 27 food banks. They have 300 a month food stamps, and you can get a hot meal for breakfast and dinner at the Gospel Mission and for lunch at St. Vincent's. So the idea that food is an issue with people on the street is just an absolute lie. The idea that there's no services. We are dripping with people who will help them do anything they need, usually an ID. They put them in foolish programs like, oh here, resume preparation and things like this that you don't need. Housing, there's housing out the ears, and when they team up, there's plenty of affordable places where this can go. And yet, this is what's blamed. Oh, and mental health services, you wonder when you see so many of them just acting crazy, the homeless walking around downtown. anybody would go homeless, would get crazy if you were using as much drugs and abusing as much alcohol as they are. And the idea that there's no mental health services available, again, a complete lie. The head of mental health said some time ago that in her entire career, they had never turned down anyone who wanted mental health services, which consists of being willing to take medication and go to counseling groups. But these people on the street do not. 50 years I've been working with homeless, downtown LA in the heart of Skid Row, San Francisco, San Fernando Valley, and Ventura County. In LA and San Francisco both, you've seen what happens when the homeless are not simply, when the law, as a peace officer said one time, you need to enforce the law without any regard to whether or not they have a roof over their head. And so what we have is people thinking that it's just these poor people can't get jobs or had a problem in their life. No, it's not. Gangs are evil, but they're not stupid. So they hide under the label in many cities of homeless. So do cartels. So do people who have like jumped warrants and have outstanding warrants and are wanted. They're all in here hiding this behind the label of homeless. So they go out and pitch a tent instead of hiding in a crummy hotel. And then no one will bother them because, well, they're homeless. Like right near here, near the police station where we're speaking from, here in the lobby, in Reno, we've got a absolutely evil homeless camp that's been in there for a while by the railroad. The railroad is not doing their part to remove them. Reno, on our part of things, is not doing its part to remove them. So now we come to the point what we're addressing with our Chief Catherine Nance. And Chief, in a nutshell, you're it. You're all we've got between us and the chaos that's overtaken LA and San Francisco and New York and countless other cities. The reason for this is you're a professional. You don't want to be asking Reno City Council or the commissioners or anyone else what they think we should do. You know the laws, you know how to enforce them, and if there's ever a time when a community needs you to do that and lead our officers in this, it's you. It hurts me when we saw a few years ago with the George Floyd riots and our police were just standing down while the city hall got destroyed and the police department got defaced. I don't believe we've got one officer who would have stood down from that. They didn't do that. They were directed to do that. And the mayor hasn't been honest about who they were directed by. And the police chief prior to you never said this. And so right now, the coming up thing though is a need to enforce the law. In places and in programs where they enforce the law, most of these vagrants by choice, AKA homeless, most of them move on and they would move out of here. These programs, this community cares campus, you're right, it's just outside kind of our jurisdiction here in Reno or your jurisdiction, but they certainly affect everything around it. And we need your weight thrown in to say this program is horrible and needs to go. And we have a great replacement for you. A nonprofit coalition of churches, dozens and dozens of them, led by two organizations that have proven success with the homeless for decades, Victory Outreach and the Sparks Reno Gospel Mission. They would lead it. We would cut loose the federal money and fund it privately so that we could absolutely have laws that would work. And Chief, you would be the perfect partner to work with them and say, we're going to do this. We can't count on the county. The sheriff is a victim of is looking for a political future. Our Reno City Council, all five of them, including the mayor, absolutely don't know anything and have no understanding of what it takes to stop homelessness. You do, I do. Any city who's done it, well, no city, there's individual organizations, no real city's done it. This is what you could do. Our DA's office has been incredibly weak in not prosecuting at all homeless crimes, and then when they do, watering everything down. We recently saw them drop 4 felonies, including life-threatening felonies, against an individual here in town who you'll hear from in a minute. And then they negotiated it down to a plea for a public trespass when he had 4 felonies that were being charged with. So the DA's office, they need your leadership. The homeless have taken over our public library downtown. A few weeks back, you'll recall, one homeless guy stabbed and killed another one right outside of City Hall in the middle of the day there in the plaza downtown. And this guy, from what we understand, was a long-time arrested homeless guy who had not been prosecuted enough to stop it. And Chief, you and your officers are the thin blue line. You're all we've got. And you need to tell the city council what needs to be done. And you need to tell the commissioners what needs to be done. And you need to work with us and everybody else to absolutely sever Volunteers of America from running this incubator of a CARES campus that creates these problems. So it's going to get to the point, if we don't do something, it's going to get to the point where the only thing we're going to be able to do is just kind of put up more shelters or tents and bankrupt our city and have it just go more to hell than it's gone downtown. So one starting point, and Education Crusade would love to offer help with this. We need to get you out to all the different neighborhoods, speaking specifically about the homeless issue in Reno, why you should care about it, and what we're doing about it, and how you can help us. And I'd love to start a prototype of that for you in South Reno, where I live, and I would set something up, and I guarantee you it'd be standing room only, and people would be so grateful to hear you talk about that. We're not going to be passive on this. We're going to be proactive on this. We've got the laws in our favor right now, the courts in our favor. Federal courts have ruled we can enforce the law with these. A final thing that every direction you look, like all the agencies that surround you, are not offering you the support you need. This homeless court, AKA community court, is an absolute travesty. If you haven't been to it, you need to. A judge sits up at a table, no one can hear him. They come up there and have a little soft whispering conversation, give them punishments like go pick up some papers out in the parking lot or go get a resume and we'll let this go. And even with this weak, impotent program they have in the homeless court, as they advertise, they're required because it's federally funded, they're 80% failure rate with these guys. And it's just when you see this, it would make you sick. So we believe, I lived near Stockton for a while, so you've obviously dealt with a lot of problems in a lot of cities in your tenure as a peace officer. We need you here. We need a strong chief leading the way and saying, we're going to put an end to this homeless-related crime, creating it. We're going to identify it correctly. We're going to enforce the rules strong. Our police are going to want to come to Reno to work because they're 100% supported enforcing the law. And we look forward to speaking about with you more in the future. Tim McGivney here had something to share with you.
I'll just speak to some of the things Paul spoke to there. It's absolutely the time right now. I think this is the perfect opportunity, and this is the tipping point as far as what's going on with the homeless situation here in Reno. We're right at the tipping point, so you're going to see the city go in one of two directions. The city's either going to go in the direction of a lot of major cities in California, where you have just overridden with crime so bad that it just is bankrupt the cities, as Paul said. San Francisco, LA, Sacramento, Stockton. We're right at the point to where it could either go that direction, or it could be the most radical change to where we can still get this under control and we could have a blueprint for what other major cities across the United States could do in taking back our city. And as Paul said, we need the Reno Police to step up on this. Now's the time to where we could absolutely still do this, where we're not so overrun. The homeless is the highest demographic for crime. That goes with things that I've seen, cleaning up squatters camps. When private property owners reach out to me to clean up these camps, what you have in there is sex trafficking, drug trafficking, underage sex trafficking, animal cruelty, theft of the surrounding businesses and our community. And these are all things that I have personal stories to go along with that I've seen firsthand. It's just absolutely a perfect time right now where we're at the brink of it could go either way. And so I just encourage the community to get behind Education Crusade, reach out and see how you can be a part of supporting our police who do an awesome job and who just need to be supported in taking our city back. As Paul mentioned, I'll speak briefly to the homeless squatter who attacked me in his vehicle, was charged with battery with a deadly weapon, lewdness, damaging personal property above $20,000, and trespassing was the one of them. So our DA's office threw out all of those and gave him a misdemeanor trespassing after all those crimes. So we need the DA to do what they need to do to get convictions, all of the convictions, after our Reno Police Department is putting in the hard work and getting these arrests. So we just ask for the support for the community to come together. We're sick of it. We see it turning into some of the cities in California, and nobody's happy about it. So what better opportunity for someone to make a name for themselves? Not that that would be the only motivation, but for the police chief and for some of these politicians to stand up. We've got a corrupt CARES campus, as Paul mentioned. It's just overrun with drugs. You've got drugs, weapons in the CARES campus so much to where anybody who is looking for help wouldn't want to go down to it because it's just a hub for criminal activity. So people who are trying to get out of the criminal life are wanting something different. That absolutely needs to be addressed. It needs to be put back in the hands of a private sector that would do it right. Require drug testing, and that only happens if we get rid of the federal funding, which could be done. That's up.
One last thing, Chief, please. If this is going to get done, if there's going to be any kind of change made at all in Reno, we can't worry, you can't worry about wanting these councils and commissioners and DAs and judges to like you. Who cares if they like you? You want them to respect you, and you want them to respect that you're going to stand strong by the law. You know, Reno in a lot of ways is a small town, and they've gotten kind of comfortable out here. Each one's kind of carved out their own little power niche, and it hasn't worked. And these things are coming up, and we need you to be the leader and speak up. And like I say, please, let's get half a dozen community meetings going on again. The topic, Reno, an exploding homeless population, why you should care about it, and how we're working to solve it, and what you can do to help. And when you go to these, Chief, you know, we've all been to far too many community meetings in police departments across the town, and they try to be real nice, and, you know, the old retirees come out there, and everybody, nobody really talks straight to them. You're tougher than all those politicians put together. You know more than all of them put together, and you need to tell them what to do, and you need to be real straight with them about how it's going to impact them. And you can do this, and believe me when I tell you we'll do anything that needs to be done to support you, we will. So again, thank you for listening to this. Please, we're looking to you to take the lead on this. There's nobody else going to do it if you don't.
I'm Catfish from Catfish Kickstart Program. I work with the homeless. I work with inmates getting out of incarcerated, try to help them find a job, a place to stay, so they won't be part of our homeless. I deal with the homeless down there in Las Vegas. Trust me, we are on our way to where Vegas is. We ain't got to go out the state line. Vegas is tore up homeless. The Strip look nice, but if you leave the Strip, you'll see it's tore up. Reno is on their way if we don't do something now. I stayed at Care Campus one night. I walked out of there with a machete in my hand. There's gangs, there's fentanyl. A friend of mine died from fentanyl down there in the Care Campus. So whatever they're telling you, this pretty picture that they paint you, please look behind the picture, sir, because there's a lot more going on than you can. There was a leader of Care Campus who gave a guy a purse. And that guy knew me, and he came over there and asked me if I wanted to buy some crystal. Clear, they call it clear. And with the same purse he got from one of the staff members down there at the Care Campus. Now, I was in there. I'm telling you, from standing right here in front of you, in front of this camera, I stayed down there, and I know what's going on down there. I'm bringing you fact, truth, and if you've seen the videos before, you've seen the machete that I walked out of there with. There was 10 of them in there. There was a 9mm in there. There was a little other gun in there. And don't nobody want to go stay in there. That's why we got so many people on the street. It's dangerous in there, very dangerous. All type of stuff that went off. If nothing else, look how many times the ambulance go there and pull out somebody dead. But we ain't supposed to talk about that. Look at that, sir. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, I appreciate you watching. Just trying to solve problems, and subscribe, like, do all the good stuff. Drew Rebar, Auditing Reno 911. Gonna sign off. Have a great day. Let's see how many people watched.